Welcome, curious minds, to another deep dive. Today we're plunging into a story so surprising, so thought-provoking. It really promises to fundamentally reshape how you look at the natural world.
It really does.
Imagine for a moment a tiny creature whose very existence, whose ability to simply fly, apparently defies all known human laws of aviation. Yet fly, it does. And this isn't just some biological marvel. This particular creature, well, he embarks on a journey that questions millennia of tradition, overturns global power structures, and ultimately sort of redefines the meaning of existence for its entire species.
It's truly an unprecedented account, isn't it? One that brilliantly challenges our ingrained assumptions about intelligence, about the very structure of society, and especially about the delicate, often unseen balance of nature.
Yeah.
What's truly fascinating here, I think, is how this grand narrative unfolds. It's not through some dry scientific report, but through the extraordinary lens of, get this, a legal case.
Right, a legal case involving a bee.
Exactly, giving us this intimately unique look at a highly structured yet, well, deeply challenged society. It's just a testament to how even the most unlikely source can offer really profound insights.
Absolutely. So our mission today is to extract the deepest, most surprising insights from this, well, unparalleled narrative. We're going to unpack the core principles of bee society, analyze the pivotal moments that ignited a species-wide revolution,
The real turning points.
and consider the far-reaching implications of daring to challenge not only deeply ingrained traditions within species, but also the established, often exploitative relationship with another much larger one, us.
Right.
Our sources for this deep dive chronicle a detailed narrative that reads almost like an investigative report. It offers these unparalleled insights into bee culture, their interactions with the human world, and the seismic legal battle that reshaped their very existence.
Quite the story.
So get ready for some truly aha moments, because what we learn about bees, and maybe about ourselves, just might surprise you.
Oh.
Okay, let's start with something truly mind-bending, something that sets the tone right from the opening lines of our source material. The absolute enigma of bee flight.
Yes, the classic setup.
Our narrative begins by stating, and I'm quoting here, according to all known laws of aviation, there is no way a bee should be able to fly. Its wings are too small to get its fat little body off the ground,
Seems pretty definitive, right?
according to us.
Exactly. But then it says the bee, of course, flies anyway because bees don't care what humans think is impossible. I mean, just take a moment to really let that sink in. It's not just biology, it's like philosophy.
It's a brilliant setup, isn't it? Just
Yeah.
perfect. Right from the start, the source establishes this fascinating contradiction.
Yeah.
On one hand, you've got human scientific understanding, built on logic and physics, which says, nope, can't happen.
Can't be done. But then you have the bee, this little organism that just does it, operates outside those perceived human limitations, almost like it doesn't even notice them.
Completely indifferent.
It suggests that bees might have this intuitive grasp of principles or maybe adhere to a different set of natural rules entirely, ones that our science hasn't quite caught up with yet. It's a powerful metaphor, almost whimsical, for operating beyond perceived limitations. And it perfectly foreshadows the journey of our protagonist, Barry Benson, who's gonna basically defy the impossible his whole life.
And it really makes you wonder, doesn't it? What seemingly impossible things do you do every day just because you don't care what others think is impossible? It's a brilliant way to introduce a species that, as we'll find out, consistently defies expectations, not just in flight, but in their whole society.
Oh yeah, the society itself is something else.
And speaking of their unique way of life, our sources reveal this incredibly rapid, almost shockingly efficient bee education system. It's nothing like what we see in the human world.
Indeed. The system is described with this startling precision and, frankly, a sort of comedic brevity that just highlights its efficiency. 3 days grade school, 3 days high school, 3 days college.
9 days, that's it.
9 days. It compresses what takes us decades, K through university, into just over a week for a bee. The analysis points to a society optimized from birth for immediate entry into the workforce.
Right, pushing individuals directly into their pre-assigned roles. There's almost no time for, soul searching, just prep for production.
Exactly. No gap year, no finding yourself.
And this leads directly into their lifelong career at Honix Industries, the central hub of their entire existence.
Yeah.
But here's where it gets really interesting for our protagonist, Barry Benson. He, like all the new grads, is totally unaware of the crucial life-altering revelation waiting for him at the Honix orientation. the devastating news.
Ah, yes, the big one.
You'll stay in the job you pick for the rest of your life. And Barry's reaction is just priceless. The same job the rest of your life. I didn't know that. This line, delivered with such wide-eyed innocence, it's a total shocker for him. It sets everything in motion.
What's truly fascinating here is the psychological impact of a system like that. Imagine a society with zero career mobility, no chance for change, for exploration, or for personal growth after that one decision you make right out of college.
Made it in, what, day 10 of your life?
Pretty much. And the source notes with this dry, almost satirical wit that bees, as a species, haven't had one day off in 27 million years.
Wow.
This extreme optimization for production, while, okay, maybe undeniably efficient, you could certainly speculate it stifles innovation or individual expression. It leads to this profound sense of predestiny, not real choice. It mirrors, in a really exaggerated way, the kind of existential dread some people might feel when they feel locked into one path.
It's an astonishing thought. Imagine making one career decision right after college that dictates the entire rest of your working life. How would that feel? Would it lead to contentment? Or this existential dread that, well, for Barry, surfaces pretty quickly?
Yeah, almost immediately.
And within this seemingly perfectly functioning society, there's an elite, an almost mythical caste that seems to defy the hive rules. The pollen jocks.
Ah, the pollen jocks. They're portrayed as the ultimate adventurers, right? Almost superheroes. Barry calls them sky freaks with total admiration. They venture outside the hive, flying who knows where, doing who knows what.
The dream job, basically.
It immediately highlights this fascinating, maybe contradictory caste system within this supposedly egalitarian bee society. Freedom, adventure, it's reserved for select few. And crucially, they are bred for this role. They don't choose it.
So it's not merit-based, it's genetic destiny again.
Exactly. The ordinary bee is just expected to accept their lot, embrace what's called the thinking bee mentality, which seems to mean conformity, collective thought, sticking to the plan.
And it's not like it's a safe gig either, which makes them even more alluring, right? Our source includes this harrowing but darkly funny anecdote from a pollen jock. Once a bear pinned me against a mushroom.
Ha ha ha. Yeah, it's not some cushy desk job out there. It's genuinely dangerous.
But for Barry, who's just learned about his one job forever future and is facing a lifetime of, I don't know, stirring the honey or picking out crud.
Which sound thrilling.
Right. The allure of the pollen jocks is just undeniable. It's such a stark contrast to the endless repetitive tasks inside. The narrative really makes you feel Barry's yearning for something more than just predictable existence.
What's truly illuminating here, I think, is the contrast between the hive's perceived perfection, this smooth-running machine, and the underlying limits and dangers that are just accepted as the bee way.
Just the way it is.
The thinking bee mentality discourages individual ambition beyond these predefined roles. And this raises an important question for us, for you listening. Does this echo any societal structures you've observed, where freedom or opportunity are unequally distributed, maybe based on birthright or assigned roles, rather than individual merit or desire?
That's a great question.
And what happens when someone in a highly regulated society, like Barry, starts asking why, especially when the only answer they get is basically because it's the bee way?
That's precisely what happens next.
Huh?
And it becomes the defining moment of Barry's life. He's faced with this crushing reality, the one job forever decree, and Barry just completely rejects the Honeyfield job offer. He's not having it.
Oh.
He's driven by this innate curiosity, this powerful desire for something more, for real agency over his own life. He actively seeks excitement, which leads him to do something absolutely radical, totally unheard of for a bee.
He breaks the mold.
He essentially stages a mini rebellion and joins the pollen jocks on a dangerous mission outside the hive. He's literally flying in the face of everything he's ever known, including the most sacred rule of all.
Yeah.
Bee law number 1. Absolutely no talking to humans.
This act of defiance is the definitive catalyst for the whole story. Barry's decision to go out there, despite the frantic warnings from his best friend, Adam, yeah, you're gonna die, you're crazy. It just overrides generations of strict social conditioning and deep-seated fear.
Total leap of faith. Or maybe folly.
His first flight beyond the hive is described with such vivid detail. It's this dizzying mix of exhilaration and absolute terror. It's the moment where the overwhelming dangers and the breathtaking wonders of the human world are fully revealed to him. In a way, no normal bee has ever experienced directly and crucially lived to tell about.
Right.
It's an immersion into the unknown, and it changes his perspective forever.
Think about that intense pull, That feeling you sometimes get to break away from expectations, explore the unknown, even if it means significant risk. That's exactly where Barry finds himself as he narrowly escapes that terrifying tennis match.
Which he totally misunderstands at first.
Right. He thinks it's some kind of violent ritual.
Yeah.
And he enters this world of unexpected beauty, but also shocking revelations. A world he could never have imagined from inside the hive. His journey outside isn't just about personal adventure anymore. It's about uncovering a truth that will shake the very foundations of his species.
So Barry makes it through the tennis ball incident. Barely.
Yeah, So Barry, having narrowly escaped that chaos, finds himself in this astonishing, truly unprecedented situation. He's actually talking to Vanessa, the human florist who saved his life from being swatted.
Breaks rule number 1 right there.
Instantly. It's this impossible friendship, really, born out of necessity. And it's this unlikely conversation, this bridging of species, that leads to an absolute pivotal, earth-shattering discovery for Barry, and eventually for all bees.
This is the big one.
He goes with her to a human grocery store, and there, amidst rows and rows of human products, he sees it. Jars, honey, labeled, for sale, everywhere.
Can you imagine? From the bee's perspective, this isn't just like, oh, look, honey, it's a profound, almost sacrilegious violation. Our source details Barry's immediate visceral outrage, his dawning realization that humans are consuming honey on this massive industrial scale, treating it like just another commodity.
Like ketchup or something.
Exactly. His reaction is unfiltered, furious. He's pointing at the labels. Cute Bee, Golden Blossom, Ray Liotta Private Select. The absurdity hits him first.
Ray Liotta Private Select, honey, still kills me.
Then the true horror sinks in. This is stealing. A lot of stealing. You've taken our homes, schools, hospitals. This is all we have, and it's on sale. It's such a powerful moment where the actual stakes of bee existence are just laid bare.
It's an incredible moment of revelation, isn't it?
Yeah.
For Barry, it instantly shifts his entire focus. His initial personal desire for freedom, for adventure, that just evaporates.
Gone. Replaced by righteous fury.
It gives way to this burning, all-consuming need to defend his entire species. He sees honey not just as food, but as the very fabric of bee society, their sustenance, their economy, their infrastructure, their identity, everything.
It is everything to them.
So to see it commodified, mass-produced, and slapped with a discount sticker by humans is just an unthinkable act of theft, a violation of their very essence.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, like you said, this isn't just about honey. It's about the deep-seated exploitation of a species' labor and their core resources without any consent or even their prior awareness. It's an entire civilization built on their unacknowledged, uncompensated work.
Exactly. This situation forces us, as listeners, to maybe confront our own consumption habits a bit. How often do you really consider the origins of the products you buy?
Right.
How do you feel about consuming goods that might be the result of processes you're unaware of, or that might exploit other species, or even human labor in ways you wouldn't approve of if you knew the whole story? This deep dive definitely prompts that kind of thinking.
It really does. It uses this animated comedy to ask some pretty pointed questions.
So Barry, driven by this newfound outrage, isn't content to just see the problem. He's a bee of action now.
He has to do something.
His next step, with Vanessa's reluctant help, is to infiltrate the source of this exploitation: honey farms. This is where the true industrialized horror of human honey production is revealed in chilling detail.
Yeah, this scene is quite something.
The source describes it as a fake hive with fake walls, this grotesque mockery of their natural homes. The scale is industrial, and the conditions are just shockingly brutal.
This scene, it's depicted with this blend of dark humor but also genuine horror. It exposes the brutal reality. Bees aren't just having their honey taken. They are effectively enslaved, trafficked, subjected to harsh, well, dehumanizing conditions.
Even for bees.
Right. Queens are forcibly moved here. We had no choice, indicating this complete lack of agency. And the workers, they're subjected to smokers, specifically the Thomas 3000, which is described in these horrifyingly specific, almost military terms.
Like it's a weapon.
It delivers 90 puffs a minute, semi-automatic, twice the nicotine, all the tar. The description explicitly says these devices knock them right out, basically sedating them so humans can steal their labor without resistance.
Horrifying.
And the human exploiter's philosophy. It's just chillingly encapsulated in one line that sums up the entire industry. They make the honey, and we make the money.
Wow. just lays it bare.
It's a stark, unapologetic declaration of their purely capitalist-driven exploitation. No pretense of partnership or respect.
That line, they make the honey and we make the money, really drives home the purely extractive nature of the relationship, doesn't it? It's not just taking a resource, it's profiting off forced, unacknowledged labor.
Absolutely. And this raises that important question again. What constitutes ownership in the natural world? Do humans have some inherent, maybe divine right to natural resources? Or is there a moral obligation to the creatures who produce them to ensure their well-being, their autonomy?
The movie uses this exaggerated scenario, but it comments on very real-world ethical dilemmas about resource use and animal welfare.
Precisely. Think about industries today that rely heavily on animal labor or extensive natural resource extraction, often from vulnerable ecosystems. How do we, as consumers, try to ensure ethical practices are upheld throughout the supply chain?
It's tough.
This deep dive through the unexpected lens of animated bees forces us to confront uncomfortable questions about our place in the ecosystem and our responsibilities to other species who share this planet. It's about recognizing the true cost, maybe beyond the price tag, of what we consume.
So Barry, armed with this undeniable, even photographic evidence of human honey exploitation and the horrifying conditions at honey farms, he makes an astonishing, truly radical decision for a bee.
The most radical decision possible, maybe.
He decides to sue the entire human race. This is where the story just explodes from a personal quest into a global legal battle.
It's completely unprecedented.
And his own family's reaction. It's one of utter disbelief, horror, and anger. They accuse him of breaking the most sacred bee law, talking to humans, and even worse, of having a human girlfriend.
Yeah. Haha. Yeah, the scandal. This is a truly unprecedented act for a bee. It challenges not only the long-standing, often hostile human-bee relations, but also these deeply ingrained bee societal norms of separation, of non-interference.
Stay in the hive, mind your business.
Exactly. The family's reaction, it's played for both comedy and genuine cultural shock. You know, he's been talking to humans. What? Talking to humans. He has a human girlfriend. And they make out. It reflects this profound fear of the unknown, the cultural upheaval of breaking age-old laws.
They're terrified.
Their concern isn't just for Barry, it's for the stability and traditional fabric of their entire society, which has been built on strict, almost sacred separation from humans. And then the news report from Hive at 5 dramatically announces Barry Benson intends to sue the human race for stealing our honey, packaging it, and profiting from it illegally.
It's a declaration of war, but waged, surprisingly, in a human courtroom.
Okay, let's just pause on this. A single, relatively young bee against the entire human race. Talk about an underdog story that absolutely nobody, least of all the bees, saw coming. It's immense. This isn't just a legal case. It's a direct challenge to centuries of perceived human supremacy and a bold demand for recognition and justice from the natural world, channeled through this one determined bee.
It definitely raises a universal question for us.
Yeah.
Have you ever witnessed or been part of a movement that challenged long-standing traditions or powerful societal expectations and faced intense resistance, not just from the opposition, but even from your own community or family? Barry's courage, or maybe sheer foolhardiness, sets the stage for this dramatic, deeply comedic, yet ultimately profound confrontation on a scale no one could have predicted. The very notion of a bee in court immediately establishes the satirical tone that's going to underpin the entire trial.
Like, what a trial it is.
So the stage is set for what is truly an unprecedented legal challenge. Barry B. Benson v. the honey industry. And this isn't just any court case. It's unfolding in a human court provided over by Judge Bumbleton, which, I mean, the name alone is wonderfully absurd.
Perfectly chosen.
The opposing lawyer, Mr. Montgomery, representing the vast human honey industry, he comes out swinging. He argues for man's divine right to nature's bounty. He's dismissive, almost comically so, questioning Barry's very authenticity as a sentient being capable of legal action.
What's truly fascinating here is how the human legal system just struggles, with often hilarious results, to even conceptualize the idea of a non-human entity having rights or legal standing.
They literally can't compute it.
Montgomery's opening statement goes right back to these deeply ingrained human beliefs, this kind of self-serving mythology. My grandmother was a simple woman. She believed it was man's divine right to benefit from the bounty of nature God put before us. It frames the conflict as almost religious entitlement.
Our God-given right to take honey.
Then he pivots to outright skepticism, resorting to increasingly outlandish accusations of trickery, rather than engaging with the premise that a bee could genuinely be representing its species. He suggests, with this escalating paranoia, how do we know this isn't some sort of holographic motion picture capture Hollywood wizardry? They could be using laser beams, robotics, ventriloquism, cloning. For all we know, he could be on steroids.
Steroids. A bee on steroids.
It perfectly encapsulates the profound cognitive dissonance in the human perception of other species when their perceived dominance gets challenged. They'd rather believe in holograms than rights for bees.
It's clear humans are just struggling to even understand what's happening. They can't fathom a bee speaking, let alone suing them. But Barry, he's unwavering. He presents his case not just as a matter of property theft, but as this profound violation of identity and purpose.
He frames it so well.
He articulates, with surprising eloquence for a bee, honey's pretty important to me. It's important to all bees. We invented it, we make it, and we protect it with our lives.
Sets the stakes immediately.
Unfortunately, there are some people in this room who think they can take it from us because we're the little guys. I'm hoping that after this is all over, you'll see how by taking our honey, you not only take everything we have, but everything we are. It's a powerful, really heartfelt opening statement that sort of transcends the absurdity of the courtroom setting.
And this leads into some truly remarkable moments of testimony, as Barry calls this parade of human witnesses, to highlight the sheer extent of human exploitation and, frankly, what can only be described as cultural appropriation of bee society.
It gets wild.
Each witness's appearance reveals a different facet of humanity's unconscious disregard, their disrespectful appropriation.
He starts with Klaus van der Hayden from Honey Farms, the guy overseeing the industrialized honey production. Barry immediately challenges his title, beekeeper, emphasizing the power imbalance. Humans keep bees, they don't free them.
Good point.
He argues if humans were truly respectful, they'd be bee freers.
No.
And then he goes for the jugular, attacking the absurd and deeply ironic use of bears in honey branding.
Oh, the bear thing.
He points out, with this righteous indignation that's both funny and poignant, that bears kill bees. How'd you like his head crashing through your living room? It's a brutal but incredibly effective cross-examination. It just highlights the human world's detachment from the natural realities they exploit for marketing.
Then he turns his attention to the iconic musician Sting, whose very stage name is this direct, undeniable appropriation of bee culture.
You can't make this stuff up. Well, they did.
Barry, playing the straight man to Sting's bewildered celebrity, demands to know, "You've never been a police officer, have you?" "No, you haven't." And so here we have yet another example of bee culture, casually stolen by a human for nothing more than a pranceabout stage name.
Ouch. Pranceabout stage name.
It highlights a deeper point about how human culture often borrows from, trivializes, even exploits other cultures, even non-human ones, without understanding or respect for their origins. Barry even reveals Sting's real name, Mr. Gordon M. Sumner, to the amused court, further stripping away the celebrity's adopted persona.
And finally, in a truly inspired meta-comedic moment, he calls actor Ray Liotta to the stand,
The man himself.
challenging his exploitation of helpless bees for honey, branded with his own name, Ray Liotta Private Select. Barry doesn't hold back, directly questioning Liotta's integrity, even referencing his famous tough guy roles. Liotta shouts, "Watch it, Benson, I could blow right now."
And Barry counters, "This isn't a good fella. This is a bad fella."
He pulls spectacularly with human celebrity and corporate branding. These testimonies, they don't just present evidence of exploitation, they brilliantly deconstruct human assumptions about the relationship with nature and the often unconscious appropriation of other cultures.
Definitely.
This whole section forces us, the audience, to consider our own cultural practices. Where do we draw the line between inspiration, homage, and outright disrespectful appropriation?
Precisely. It's a series of very pointed, yet hilarious critiques delivered in this direct, almost accusatory manner. It makes the human characters squirm and forces the court, and by extension us, to confront uncomfortable truths about our own consumption and cultural habits. It brilliantly uses the animated medium to deliver sharp social commentary.
But the trial takes a dramatic, almost fatal turn for the bees case. During cross-examination, Montgomery, the human lawyer, he's getting desperate. He resorts to these nasty tactics, intentionally provoking Adam, Barry's best friend.
Low blow incoming.
He questions Barry's legitimacy, asking if he's an illegitimate bee and if bees date their cousins. It's just an outrageous speciesist attack designed solely to inflame.
Pure provocation.
And this calculated provocation pushes Adam to his absolute limit. He does the unthinkable for a bee. He stings Montgomery. And for a bee, as we know, that's a fatal self-sacrificial act.
Adam's self-sacrifice. It's a profoundly powerful moment, infused with both tragedy and this fierce, maybe misguided loyalty. It highlights the inherent danger bees face and the immense emotional toll the trial is taking on them.
The pressure was immense.
And Montgomery, ever the dramatist, seizes on it. He proclaims with this over-the-top theatricality, "Oh, I'm hit! Oh, Lordy, I am hit! The venom! The venom is coursing through my veins. I have been felled by a winged beast of destruction."
Laying it on thick.
This dramatic display momentarily turns public opinion decisively against the bees. They're painted as striped savages who resort to violence. It nearly derails Barry's entire case. It creates this deep crisis for Barry and the whole bee legal team as all their hard work seems to just unravel in an instant.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. The kind of pivot that makes you gasp.
Yeah.
Just when things look absolutely dire, just when the bees are being vilified. Barry, he's observing Adam recovering in this makeshift hospital bed, and he notices the smoke from Adam's nebulizer being used because the sting weakened him. And it clicks. He connects it to the smokers he witnessed being used at honey farms.
The connection.
In a flash of insight, he realizes that the smoker is the ultimate smoking gun, evidence against human exploitation. He turns the narrative completely around, reframing the bees situation from individual savage actions like Adam's sting to systemic industrialized oppression. It's a true stroke of genius.
He argues with profound emotional impact and this raw indictment of human practices. Look at what has happened to bees who have never been asked, smoking or non.
Right, no choice.
Is this what nature intended for us, to be forcibly addicted to smoke machines and man-made wooden slat work camps, living out our lives as honey slaves to the white man? That powerful line doesn't just present evidence. It frames their plight as a matter of forced addiction, involuntary servitude, systemic injustice. It emphasizes the species-wide impact of human actions.
Shifts the whole focus.
It brilliantly shifts the focus from an individual savage act to a profound systematic oppression, turning the very symbol of human control, the smoker, into the key to their liberation.
How often do we, in our own lives and societies, overlook systematic issues in favor of focusing on individual incidents or dramatic isolated events? What are the smoking guns in our world that, once recognized, could reveal hidden exploitation or injustice on a grand scale?
Great question.
This moment completely changes the game, not just for the bees, but for the fundamental relationship between species. And the verdict, when it comes, is swift and decisive.
The court, swayed by Barry's powerful closing argument and that undeniable smoker evidence, finds definitively in favor of the bees. This leads to the immediate shutdown of all bee work camps globally. And remarkably, the court orders the return of every last drop of honey to the bees.
Every last drop.
Humans are also forbidden from using bee-negative nicknames, no more honey bunch, maybe, and comically, from incorporating honey into products like lip balm. It signifies this complete shift in their exploitative practices. This victory represents an unprecedented win for a non-human species, seemingly granting them ultimate freedom and justice after millennia of exploitation.
It sounds like a total unmitigated triumph. Barry exclaims to Vanessa, "Vanessa, we won. I knew you could do it." The immediate aftermath is pure elation, right?
Healthy joy,
But even in this moment of victory, there's that ominous warning from Montgomery, the human lawyer, chillingly foreshadowing unforeseen catastrophic consequences. He tells Barry with this grim determination, "This is an unholy perversion of the balance of nature, Benson. You'll regret this." It's a dark cloud on an otherwise sunny horizon.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, this ruling drastically alters a fundamental ecological relationship, one that's existed for millions of years, this intricate dance of interdependence. While the verdict was undoubtedly intended to right a profound wrong and achieve justice for the bees,
Which it did, on paper.
right, it raises crucial questions about the complex, often unseen balance within nature that humans, and maybe even bees, might not fully comprehend. Can a victory for one party in a complex ecosystem, no matter how justified, sometimes lead to unintended, devastating negative consequences for others? Or even for the victors themselves? The seeds of a new, even larger crisis are sown in this very moment of triumph. It's a powerful lesson in unintended consequences waiting to sprout.
So, the bees win the trial, all the honey is returned, human exploitation is halted, and life for bees seems to enter this golden era of, well, leisure and freedom. They experience an unprecedented period of rest and celebration. They think their lives are now unequivocally better.
The dream achieved, right? No more work.
The source shows them just laying out, sleeping in, doing absolutely nothing. But Barry's initial confusion and disappointment is palpable. I don't understand why they're not happy. I thought their lives would be better.
This initial phase vividly illustrates the bees' superficial, almost naive understanding of freedom. They equate it simply with the cessation of work, with endless vacation. They completely fail to grasp the deeper purpose and interconnectedness of their natural roles within the larger ecosystem.
They forgot why they worked, beyond the honey theft part.
Exactly. Their joy in idleness is really short-lived, as they haven't truly understood the profound impact of their labor beyond just producing honey for humans. The humorous yet telling details reinforce this purposelessness. The thought of Uncle Carl going to San Antonio with a cricket simply because he has absolutely nothing else to do.
Just pure aimlessness.
It underscores this profound sense of ennui, this lack of purpose that quickly infects the hive. What good is freedom if it just means stagnation?
It's a classic case of be careful what you wish for, isn't it? Sometimes what we think we want or what we fight for can have profoundly unexpected drawbacks when achieved. It can create a whole new set of problems. Have you ever experienced a situation where a solution created an even bigger, unforeseen problem down the line? For the bees, the consequences of their victory quickly become catastrophic, far beyond anything they or humans could have imagined.
This is the dramatic and terrifying realization that bees' labor wasn't just for humans' benefit with honey, but for the fundamental survival of entire ecosystems, for the very continuation of life on Earth through pollination.
Their real job.
Without bees pollinating, the intricate web of nature just rapidly unravels. Flowers, fruits, vegetables globally begin to wilt, wither, and die. This impacts the entire animal kingdom, widespread famine, ecological collapse, and ultimately, it threatens the human species itself.
It's terrifying.
The source emphasizes this stark reality with Barry's devastating realization, filled with this crushing burden of guilt. Oh no! Oh my, they're all wilting. Doesn't look very good, does it? No. And whose fault do you think that is?
Oh, the weight on his little bee shoulders.
You know, I'm gonna guess bees. Bees, specifically me. He takes it all on himself.
He realizes his victory, born from this righteous desire for justice, has inadvertently ruined the planet. The gravity of the situation is underscored by the dire warning shared in the narrative. Take away produce that affects the entire animal kingdom, and then, of course, the human species. So if there's no more pollination, it could all just go south here, couldn't it? This highlights the critical, often unseen role of even the small jobs within a larger interconnected system. It's a powerful statement about how vital every single component is, no matter how seemingly insignificant.
This truly raises an important question about the true intrinsic value of labor, especially labor that sustains natural systems that keeps the planet running. The bees thought they were exploited, and okay, in terms of honey production, they were.
Right, that part was true.
But their core job of pollination was far more critical than simple honey production. It was, in essence, life itself for countless other species. This serves as such a powerful reminder of how seemingly small actions or changes in one part of a complex ecosystem can have monumental, unforeseen ripple effects throughout.
Makes you think.
What unseen connections exist in systems you interact with daily? Maybe in your workplace, your community, even your family. Connections you might take for granted until they're suddenly disrupted.
The world is literally wilting around them, turning barren and gray. Vanessa, ever the practical, observant human, informs a distraught Barry that the final Tournament of Roses parade in Pasadena is being held early. Why? Because all the flowers are dying.
A tragic symbol.
This isn't just a parade. It represents humanity's last grand floral display, a final desperate gasp of beauty and natural vibrancy before total ecological collapse. It's beautifully poignant and equally horrifying as a symbol of what they've lost.
This event becomes the urgent, undeniable focal point for Barry's new mission, to immediately undo the damage, restore the balance. It symbolizes the desperate last stand for both bee and human survival, making it abundantly clear that the fate of two species, previously at odds, is now inextricably linked. Their survival depends on rapid, unprecedented collaboration.
Right. Enemies become allies out of sheer necessity.
The line, almost a mantra of renewed purpose that Barry mutters. Roses, flowers, bees, pollen. I know, that's why this is the last parade. Maybe not. That captures Barry's sudden, desperate spark of an idea. A chance, maybe, to reverse the irreversible.
So what does this all mean for our unlikely hero? It means Barry, the bee who bravely broke the system, who won an impossible victory, now has to save it from the very consequences of his triumph.
Talk about irony.
The fate of the entire planet, two species, indeed all life, rests on the ingenuity and cooperation of previously adversarial parties. It's a dramatic pivot from conflict to an urgent shared purpose, a race against planetary extinction.
The stakes couldn't be higher.
With the world wilting and the Tournament of Roses parade standing as his final dying symbol of life, Barry, in a stroke of sheer ingenuity, devises this high-stakes, really audacious plan.
He has to think big.
He realizes that the parade flowers in Pasadena hold the last significant collection of pollen on Earth, a last desperate reservoir of life. His idea: gather all that remaining pollen and somehow transport it back to New York for mass repollination.
A massive undertaking.
And to do this, he relies on Vanessa's official floral business status. Remember, she's a florist, to get the entire floral float laden with dying blossoms onto a commercial plane. It's truly a desperate, almost crazy measure.
What's truly fascinating here is the immediate, almost miraculous pivot from deep-seated conflict to urgent interspecies collaboration, driven purely by shared existential survival.
Nothing like a planetary crisis to bring folks together.
Barry's realization: all we got to do is get what they've got back here with what we've got. Bees, park, pollen, flowers, repollination, across the nation. It shows incredible ingenuity and this rediscovered sense of purpose. It underscores how easily we can get entrenched in adversarial roles until a truly existential threat emerges that forces cooperation, overriding all previous grievances.
Yeah.
This plan leverages human infrastructure, like commercial air travel, with innate bee instinct and collective action in this desperate race against global ecological collapse. It's really a blueprint for a new kind of partnership.
It's truly a race against time, isn't it? A frantic sprint against the wilting of the world. And it vividly highlights how a profound crisis can force entirely new ways of thinking and interacting between even the most unlikely of allies.
But the journey, as you might expect, is anything but smooth.
Oh no. Mid-flight, a shocking comedic twist throws everything into chaos. The human pilots are incapacitated.
Of course they are.
Barry, with Vanessa's frantic help and his own newfound courage, is suddenly faced with the impossible task of landing a massive commercial plane, carrying not just people, but the very last hope for planetary repollination.
No pressure, Barry. This is the absolute climactic moment of the narrative. A breathtaking testament to the power of collective action, interspecies trust, and the rediscovery of innate essential abilities.
He has to think big.
Barry, initially terrified and admitting, "So it turns out I cannot fly a plane," realizes he must think B, not just individual, but collectively. He puts out this desperate call, rallying the swarm of pollen jocks.
The cavalry arrives.
In a truly awe-inspiring, visually spectacular display of collective instinct, they guide the colossal plane to safety. They achieve the impossible by forming a giant, pulsating flower made of millions of bees on the tarmac, providing a visual target for the landing.
Incredible imagery.
The pollen jocks, previously seen maybe as just a status symbol for adventurous bees, they become instrumental in saving the world, redefining their bee way not as forced labor or elite adventure, but as essential, interconnected work for the greater good.
Okay, let's just unpack this. A plane full of people and the last flowers on Earth, guided to safety by a swarm of bees who intuitively understand aerodynamics and collective action. This isn't just, if we're going to survive as a species, this is our moment. What do you say? Are we going to be bees or just Museum of Natural History keychains? And they all shout, "We're bees." It's this declaration of reclaimed identity and renewed purpose.
This remarkable event, the successful landing and the subsequent mass repollination of the wilting world, it leads to a profound and lasting transformation for bee society. The bees return to work, but with a fundamentally different understanding of their role.
A new perspective.
They now comprehend their vital contribution to pollination, the intricate interconnectedness of all life on the planet. They continue to produce honey, yes, but crucially, they also willingly provide pollination services for humans. Now, understanding that this labor isn't exploitation, but a shared responsibility for a thriving world.
So they found meaning in the work, not just freedom from it.
Exactly. And Barry, the reluctant revolutionary, takes on this new ambassadorial role as a pollen jock, bridging the two worlds. He even opens a bees and humans law firm.
It's truly a beautiful, almost utopian resolution to what began as intense conflict. The bees move from a state of enforced, unacknowledged labor to one of conscious, willing participation. They reclaim their purpose, seeing the inherent value and profound significance in their small jobs for the greater good of the planet.
And humans, in turn, recognize their absolute, undeniable reliance on bees and the services they provide. It forms this new, more balanced relationship based on mutual understanding, genuine respect, and shared benefit.
The new bee mantra is playful, yet profound. We're bees. Keychain. Then follow me. Except keychain. It's still about their identity, but now it's an identity of purpose and vital contribution, not just a label or, well, a potential keychain.
This new model really begs a crucial question for our own world. Can a deeper, more empathetic understanding of the true value of another species' work, or indeed any form of unrecognized labor, transform a relationship from one of pure exploitation to a truly mutually beneficial, symbiotic partnership?
That's the hope, right?
It suggests a profound shift in perspective is possible for both bees and humans in the story, and one we can certainly apply to our own interactions. How can we foster more symbiotic relationships in our own lives, industries, communities, moving beyond mere extraction or transaction to true partnership and shared, sustainable benefit? Hashtag tag outro.
And so we conclude this incredible deep dive into the world of bees through the extraordinary, often hilarious, yet deeply insightful journey of Barry Benson.
Quite a ride.
We've seen him question the very status quo in his seemingly perfect yet stifling bee society, daring to challenge humanity for its systematic exploitation of his kind.
Then we witnessed the frightening, unintended, and catastrophic consequences of his hard-won victory as nature's delicate balance was inadvertently undone. A real cautionary tale element there.
Absolutely. And finally, we saw him rise to the occasion, leading his species and ours towards a new, more harmonious coexistence built on respect and understanding.
This narrative, told through the unexpected lens of an animated film, powerfully reinforces the idea that even the smallest individuals or creatures can initiate monumental change. It highlights that true freedom might not be the mere absence of work, but rather the conscious, meaningful choice of labor that benefits the whole, that sustains life beyond oneself. The story profoundly underscores the paramount importance of understanding the intricate interconnectedness of all systems, ecological, social, even economic. Every action, every relationship has ripple effects, sometimes in ways we can barely comprehend.
Absolutely. It truly makes you think. This deep dive shows us that when we disrupt one part of a complex system, even with the best intentions for justice, we must be prepared for unforeseen, wide-reaching ripple effects.
Responsibility comes with change.
But it also suggests that true freedom might not be the absence of work, but the conscious choice of meaningful labor that genuinely benefits the whole, that contributes to a larger, thriving ecosystem. So the next time you see a bee or any small creature diligently at work, what unseen and vital role might they be playing in your world?
And what might truly happen if they, too, decided to go on strike? It's a thought worth buzzing about.
Indeed it is. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive.